29th September 2008. Location Malegaon, part of Maharashtra's Nashik district and about 300 kilometers away from the city of Mumbai. A Muslim-majority town, Malegaon is known for its power loom industry. In September 2008, the holy month of Ramzan was on. Muslims were fasting and the festival of Navratri was also just round the corner. Amid this festive mood, tragedy struck. There was a bomb blast at a busy junction in this town of Malegaon. 6 people were killed and nearly 100 were injured. It was said that the bomb was strapped to a motorcycle. The bike was parked near a mosque in Malegaon and then this bike exploded. Within weeks, Maharashtra's anti-terror squad took over the case from the local police and arrested 7 people. This included a former MP from the Bharatiya Janata Party and an Indian Army officer. They were charged under stringent sections of the law, including UAPA, which is India's anti-terror law. It was alleged that those linked to right-wing groups or Hindu extremists were responsible for this blast and that they had timed it deliberately with the month of Ramzan to stoke communal tensions. Since 2008, the investigation proceeded at a snail's pace. 17 years and 2 investigations later, the court has delivered its verdict. And as it turns out, all 7 accused have been acquitted, not guilty. The court says there is not enough evidence to prove the stringent charges against the accused. The accused have hailed this verdict of the court, saying justice has been delivered. The ruling Bharatiya Janata Party says Hindus can never be terrorists and that there is no such thing as saffron terror. For the defeated families of the blast victims, an appeal in the Bombay High Court is their next best bet. Hello and welcome, I'm Shubham Chauhan. Let's get started. So a special court in Mumbai today delivered its verdict in one of India's longest running terror cases. It has acquitted all 7 accused in the 2008 Malegaon blast case. The order was passed by Special Judge A.K. Lahoti, who held that the prosecution failed to bring any solid evidence to prove the charges against the accused. Now what's more significant in this case is the list of accused, who the court has now acquitted, because that is something which is getting a lot of attention. Number 1 in that list of accused is Sadhvi Pragya Thakur, former MP from the Bharatiya Janata Party from Bhopal, and someone who's pretty much a product of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. Of course, Pragya Thakur has made headlines in 2019. Among other remarks, in 2019 she said that Nathuram Godse was a patriot. The man who had shot Mahatma Gandhi, father of the nation, was a patriot, is what Pragya Thakur had said. Of course, she apologized later after this remark of hers created a huge outrage. So she was the main accused in this Malegaon blast case. The other 6 names include Lieutenant Colonel Prasad Shrikant Purohit, who was then serving officer in the military intel, Major retired Ramesh Upadhyay, Ajay Rahirkar, Sudhakar Dwivedi, Sudhakar Chaturvedi, Sameer Kulkarni. All of them have been now set free by the special NIA court in Mumbai. The court said that someone cannot be convicted on moral grounds or mere suspicion alone. In fact, the judge said, terrorism has no religion because no religion can advocate violence. The court cannot convict anyone merely on perception and moral evidence. There has to be cogent evidence. The judge said that while the prosecution did prove that a bomb blast occurred in Malegaon, it failed to establish a link between that blast and the accused. Visuals from Malegaon show locals and BJP workers celebrating this verdict. They've hailed the justice system. Pragya Thakur said, this verdict was a win for Hindutva.
मैं एक सन्यासी हूँ और व्यक्तिगत यदि मेरे ऊपर किसी प्रकार से टॉर्चर करते व्यक्तिगत कारण से तो मैं इनको क्षमा करती, लेकिन इन्होंने देशद्रोह किया है, इन्होंने कानून के अंतर्गत गैरकानूनी काम किया है और देश को हानि पहुंचाई है। देश को भगवा आतंकवाद घोषित करवाने के लिए इन्होंने विश्व में प्रयास किया है और इसलिए यूएनओ में ये भारत को भगवा आतंकवाद देश घोषित कर दें, ऐसी कांग्रेस की नीति रही।
Now let's give you a brief journey of this case and the charges that were leveled against these individuals, because remember, this is almost an 18-year-old case. Now, weeks after this blast in 2008, in October of the same year, the Maharashtra Anti-Terrorism Squad took over the probe. The Maharashtra ATS was headed by an officer called Hemant Karkare at the time, an upright police officer who was eventually martyred in November 2008 during the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. The ATS probe in this Malegaon blast case indicated that the improvised explosive device or IED had been planted on a motorcycle which led to the blast. It also revealed that the registration number of the motorcycle was fake and the engine number and chassis number had been erased. The bike was then sent to forensics for examination, and later ATS revealed that Pragya Thakur was the owner of this bike. ATS said she had lent this bike to her co-conspirators. The ATS also claimed that Lieutenant Colonel Purohit had helped arrange explosives for this blast. It also said that the blast was orchestrated by a right-wing group called Abhinav Bharat, and the accused had met in different places to hatch this conspiracy and planned this blast altogether. The aim of the attack, the ATS said, was to take revenge for previous atrocities committed by Muslims on Hindus. In 2009, the ATS filed its first charge sheet, naming 12 accused. They were charged under the Maharashtra Control of Organized Crime, or MACOCA, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, or UAPA, Arms Act, and sections of the Indian Penal Code, etc. 7 people in total were arrested by the ATS. One of them was given bail in 2011, and the other 6 remained behind bars for another 8 years before being granted bail in the year 2017. In 2011, the UPA government transferred the probe from the ATS to the NIA, that is the National Investigation Agency, an agency that was formed to investigate terror cases after the 26/11 Mumbai attacks. The NIA continued to deny any relief to Pragya Thakur in the first 5 years of the probe, from 2011 to 2016, that is. In 2016, NIA suddenly dropped all charges against her in the supplementary charge sheet that they filed in court. The others were still charged in line with what the ATS had said, but Pragya Thakur was the exemption. The reasoning NIA gave at the time was that there was no evidence against Pragya Thakur. Instead, the NIA indicted the ATS, saying that the latter tortured witnesses to give statements against Pragya Thakur. The court did not accept this at all, saying ATS's material and evidences cannot be negated just like that. Although the court did accept NIA's argument of dropping MACOCA against all the accused. Eventually, as the NIA said, only 7 out of the original 11-12 accused were tried in court. So, trial in the Malegaon blast case formally began in the year 2018. The charges included UAPA sections 16, which is Committing Terrorist Act, section 18, Conspiring to Commit Terror Act, and various IPC sections including criminal conspiracy, murder, attempt to murder, voluntarily causing hurt, and promoting enmity between different religious groups. Now, the NIA's U-turn on their approach as far as Pragya Thakur was concerned did raise eyebrows. What changed? What was it that changed after 2015 or around that time that this change of heart happened with regards to the number one accused in this case? Then came an answer. Special Public Prosecutor Rohini Salian, who was NIA's lawyer at the time, said that the agency had told her to go soft in the case and the right-wing leaders involved in this case. Salian said that an NIA official had approached her immediately after Prime Minister Modi came to power in 2014. She said the official told her twice to go easy on the right-wing leaders who were accused in this case. And the next time, she was dropped from the case altogether. Fast forward to 2018. Now, like we said, the trial was underway and it went on till April 2025. More than 300 prosecution and defense witnesses were examined. More than 10,800 exhibits were submitted, along with a huge volume of evidence, including documents. During the hearing, more than 30 witnesses turned hostile during these proceedings. They said that they had no knowledge of the 2008 blast altogether. So more than 30 witnesses had turned hostile. The verdict was eventually delivered today, and it junked all the charges that the ATS had originally made in this case. The court said today that prosecution had failed to prove that the bike on which the bomb was allegedly strapped belonged to Pragya Thakur. It added that Thakur had become a sannyasi and had left all material things 2 years before this blast had happened. On Colonel Purohit, the court said that there was no evidence to prove that he sourced RDX from Kashmir or that he assembled this bomb. The court also said that while there were financial transactions between Purohit and another accused by the name of Ajay Rahirkar as officials of the Abhinav Bharat, the money was not used for terror activities. Instead, the court said it was used by Purohit only towards the construction of his house and an LIC insurance policy. The court also rejected prosecution's argument that 101 people were injured in this blast, saying that some medical certificates were forged. And lastly, the judge ordered compensation of 2 lakh rupees for each of the next of kin of the deceased and 50,000 rupees each for the injured. The victims' families, after the verdict came out, said that they will appeal and they will approach the Bombay High Court in this case.
आज कोर्ट ने बेनिफिट ऑफ डाउट देते हुए सारे आरोपी लोग को बरी कर दिया, पर ये क्लियर एक्विटल नहीं है। ये इसके बारे में अपील होगी, स्टेट भी अपील करेंगे, हम रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे और हम भी अपील करेंगे पर ये एक बात तो प्रूव हुई कि मालेगांव में बम ब्लास्ट हुआ था, जिसमें इतने लोग 6 लोग मरे थे और 101 जख्मी हुए थे, क्योंकि अक्यूज नंबर 10 ने कहा था कि मालेगांव में बम ब्लास्ट हुआ नहीं, ये सारे झूठे लोग हैं, इन्होंने झूठी गवाही दी है। पर कोर्ट ने माना नहीं, बम ब्लास्ट हुआ था। तभी कोर्ट ने बोला कि उनको मुआवजा दिया जाए, मरने वालों को 2 लाख रुपए और जो जख्मी हुए थे उनको 50,000 रुपए मुआवजा दिया।
परंतु सरकारचा दबाव असल्यामुळे हे सगळे निकाल लागलेत का सर?
नहीं सर,
सरकारचा दबाव असल्यामुळे निकाल लागलेत का?
सरकार का वो आई कांट कमेंट ऑन दैट, सरकार का क्या रोल था इसमें। पूरा ट्रायल चला, 40 विटनेस हॉस्टाइल हुए, वो तो सरकार की जिम्मेदारी अपने एजेंसी से पूछना है विटनेस ऐसे कितने हॉस्टाइल हो गए, कैसे हुआ, ट्रायल कैसा चला, दे विल हैव टू एग्जामिन। एजेंसी को एग्जामिन करे। एनआईए प्रीमियर एजेंसी, इंडिया का सबसे बड़ा एजेंसी है, होम मिनिस्ट्री के अंडर में आता है, वो भी अपने देखें कैसे इतना बड़ा जजमेंट आया। ये बेनिफिट ऑफ डाउट दिया, कोर्ट ने क्लियर एक्विटल नहीं दिया है।
Now, the BJP and the right wing is busy hailing this verdict, like I said at the very beginning. Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has just reacted. He has slammed the Congress over what they call saffron terror, and also he's welcomed this verdict. Listen in to what the Chief Minister of Maharashtra had to say.
देखिए, जिस प्रकार से कांग्रेस प्रणीत यूपीए सरकार ने भगवा आतंकवाद, हिंदू आतंकवाद, ये नरेटिव सेट करने के लिए षड्यंत्र रचा और ये पूरा मालेगांव का केस तैयार किया, आज उसका पर्दाफाश हो गया है। कोर्ट ने सबूतों के आधार पर ये कितना खोखला था, ये कैसा षड्यंत्र था, ये किस प्रकार से रचा गया था, ये सारी चीज़ें सामने लाई हुई है। और एक प्रकार से केवल वोट की राजनीति के लिए अपनी वोट बैंक को और विशेष रूप से एक पर्टिकुलर धर्म की वोट बैंक को खुश करने के लिए जिस प्रकार से नैरेटिव लाने का प्रयास कांग्रेस ने किया था और तमाम भगवा और हिंदुओं को आतंकवादी ठहराने का जो काम कांग्रेस ने किया था, आज पूरा देश उसका धिक्कार कर रहा है। और हम मांग करते हैं कि कांग्रेस ने माफ़ी मांगनी चाहिए। विशेष रूप से ये हिंदू आतंकवाद और भगवा आतंकवाद कहकर जो अपमान कांग्रेस ने तमाम भारतीयों का और हिंदू समाज का किया है, उसके लिए कांग्रेस माफ़ी मांगे, ये हमारी मांग है।
Now, notably, while we are discussing about members of the Hindu right being acquitted by the court today, there's also something else that is worth mentioning here. That is something that happened in the Rajya Sabha. The speech of Union Home Minister Amit Shah. He had declared yesterday in the Rajya Sabha that no Hindu can ever be a terrorist. That is what he said. This was during his reply in Rajya Sabha on Operation Sindoor and Operation Mahadev. And he was, of course, speaking on a more broader level. Shah criticized the Congress for coining the political term saffron terror and allegedly demonizing the Hindu community for vote bank politics. And of course, Shah reiterated the fact that Hindus cannot and don't indulge in such acts of terror. Now, one, of course, wonders the veracity of this claim because you have, for instance, the example of the LTTE, the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, the group that had killed Rajiv Gandhi, the sitting Prime Minister of India at the time, back in 1991. But regardless, like the court said today, terror and terrorism has no religion. It is what it is. The second point is on a more judicial or legal level, and that is the ability of the prosecution to put forth solid arguments. Now, just last week, the Bombay High Court had acquitted all 11 accused in the 2006 Mumbai train blast case. More than 187 people were killed and over 800 were injured in that dastardly attack, the train blast in the city of Mumbai. There too, the court gave the same reason, lack of evidence from the prosecution side. And that brings us to the last question. If the 7 accused in the Malegaon blast case did not commit this act, if the 11 accused in the Mumbai train blast did not commit this act, then who did it? The court has exonerated all of them after years of a lengthy trial. Now, it may be right or wrong, the court's judgment, that is, it can be right or wrong. One can debate on it, on the merits of each case. But one cannot forget the all-important question of if not these accused, then who did it? Someone must have done it, of course. The least that families of those who have suffered in such attacks deserve is closure. That is the least they can ask for, and they deserve that. A closure that tells them who was behind the loss of their beloved one. That is an answer we haven't got in the Mumbai train blast case, nor in the 2008 Malegaon blast case. That's all we have for this report. Thanks for watching.